What is up, guys? It's Mason once again from PMChess, and again I'm here with my friend, national champion or national master, Dr. Adu-Poku. And what we are going to be doing today is that we are going to be analyzing his game from the Ghana National Championship. His first victory. I'll spot the result because why not? His first victory against FIDE Master Hasford. He's actually one of the strongest chess players in Ghana. Very, very strong chess player. He's actually the strongest. Yeah, I think he's the strongest. Yeah, I also agree with you that he's the strongest. So I just going to look at his game. And in case you didn't check out that video, I think I'll post the card. I think it's over here. Yeah, I'll post the card there. We had an interview, a very fun time with Adu-Poku, a lot of blunders and a lot of funny instances. So you should check that out. And also, like I said, no, you blundered. I won most of those games. By saying that, people will be like, wow, he beat Adu-Poku. I have to see this. Yeah. But you can check out that video. Also, follow him on Twitter. Check out his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/invisibleknight146, I think. You can just check out his Twitch channel. Check out his YouTube channel, Chess Intense. And follow him, subscribe, check out his content. You learn a lot. I know I have. So let's get on with this analysis. So here in this game, Adu-Poku is playing as black versus Ghana's strongest, FM Hasford. Take us through it, Adu-Poku. If I get confused, I'll step in and ask a question.
Yeah, sure. So this was round, I want to say 4, I think.
No, I think it will be round 5 or round 6 because I checked.
Okay. Probably 5 then.
Yeah.
And before this round, I was still on like 100%. So
yeah,
this game, and he was like the person who was also keeping up. So I think we were first and second. So the game was like it would be very crucial. And because like the first tiebreak is head to head, it's like doubly important. Like if you lose this game, you're in huge trouble because he's like your main rival for the event. So I wasn't too happy actually that I got a black
against him. Yeah, like how would you do this?
Because even with white I struggle, so with black it was. But anyway, so I prepared to go into these. Like he started 1d4. Like you'd expect.
No landing system, sadly.
He did play knight f3, but after d5 he knew better than to put the bishop on
he said he knew better. That's why he lost. Actually, trust me, that's why he lost.
So he went into a normal type.
Queen's Gambit
decline. I played e6, knight c3. So here I made a first committal decision. Normal thing is just to like put your bishop on e7, play normal chess. I decided to take on c4 immediately, going into the so-called Vienna. It can be very sharp. There are like very sharp lines that can come from here. Like if it goes like bishop g5 or he goes for the immediate e4, the game gets very, very sharp. And I was fairly well prepared, so I didn't mind stepping into those lines at all, especially because he's also known to be like this kind of safety first, super strong.
He's very solid,
That's crazy territory unless he knows he's just better. So I kind of expected him to go for this e3 variation, and in general he likes playing this. These early e3s against many things. So I this is what I expected in my prep, and the variation continues a6. The point, of course, is that he wants to take this bishop, and I want to meet that with a b5, so that I can deploy this bishop on b7. I place c5, knight b7, and I'm doing okay. And so what he plays a4, which is also like I think is the main line, and the idea is just to stop b5. So now he's still going to take, and I can't play b5 any longer.
So then this actually also invite you to go for like a transposition with bishop to b4. So like a names or idea.
Yeah, bishop to b4. I think is an okay move, but probably doesn't work out all that well. He gets this in.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the fact that after bishop takes c3, pawn takes c3, that pawn is a target.
No, I don't think you ever really want to do this.
Oh, okay.
So in this particular structure, your light square bishop isn't doing so well. So your dark square bishop is like your is your best piece.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at so many funny moves. For example, like c5 here.
Yeah, c5 would be what you have to play, but I don't think it works out all that well. Really? Another problem is that you allow him to strengthen his central presence. So, I mean, whenever you do take, he will still have more central pawns than you. He'll play a middle game, play for e4. He'll probably crush you, actually. I don't think all that's...
I'm not an expert on the Queen's Gambit. I'm just checking out some lines that seem interesting to me.
Yeah. I'll definitely... There are some lines where you take in, like what would be more interesting would be playing something like knight here instead to put pressure here.
Oh, okay. That
looks okay enough. That like a queen c2, you can maybe play for f5 if you are really brave. I mean that's a bit more.
That's too committal. That's too committal. Okay, that's cool.
So after if I played c5, that's like the book. I kind of expected a4 too, so I had prepared all this. And c5 is also the. I mean, you have to play c5 at some point if you are going to play the structure. So after he plays a4, you can't play b5 any longer. c5 is the move you have to go for. So bishop takes on c4, then you develop your knight to c6, then castles, bishop e7. This is all fairly normal main line. So this is where he deviated from like the super main line. The super main line here is to take on c5 now.
Okay.
And do I trade queens first? I think I trade queens. and then I take back, and we get this end game where it's super symmetrical. Yeah, he has a big one of his castle, and he has his rook here already. But then like all these pieces are symmetrical. These pawns are almost symmetrical, and our bishops are both stuck behind this pawn. These knights are also so it's like
drawish territory.
Yeah, very not super drawish, but it's difficult to find significant imbalance.
Exactly.
So especially against a player who is stronger than you, it's kind of a bit safer.
Digging your own grave. Because one thing about Hasford is that one thing I noticed is that he takes you to the end game and beats you there.
Yeah. He's very good at end games. So I actually kind of didn't want him to play this because it also limits my winning chances. Because I wouldn't mind getting a position. I don't usually play chess for like passive positions like this where I'm just going to defend. I mean, I like to fight for something. So I was kind of dreading him going for this actually. So I was very happy when he didn't. And he went for b3. So I kind of expected him to deviate at this point, but I didn't think he would play this and allow the queen exchange. It's not very natural unless you know that it's the book move. But I didn't expect b3. I mean, it was difficult to anticipate exactly what he'd go for. So I was on my own. So b3, the idea is he wants to put the bishop here, which is fine because this diagonal is not.
Or you can help him by taking that pawn.
Exactly. So that's I think the drawback behind b3 because I am going to take eventually. So this diagonal is going to open up. So with the bishop here, I don't know whether it does as well as the bishop does here, like on g5. So and another problem is with his pawn structure. So b3 creates a few weaknesses. Like the c3 square becomes a bit weaker. And that became relevant a bit later on. So anyway, so I castled, he put the bishop on b2, and it was time for me to take. Now that the bishop has committed itself here, now I want to take.
Yeah, so that's something, I just want to point it out. That's something you should take note of. It's not just about, like, for example, you can take here, but the timing of the move is important. Sometimes you have to wait for your opponent to commit before you make a move. So this is a very good thing that he did. If he just took it here, actually, he's making his opponent's positions better. But to wait for his opponent to commit the bishop to this square before trading ensures that the bishop is still staring at the wall. So it's a very good point you made out there. Yeah. It's a very good thing to do.
Yeah. So after takes, pawn takes, that's what you have to go for. I don't know that he could take with a knight. No, eventually he will still have to.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you're going to end up in an IQQ, whether you like it or not. Because you always, at the end of the day, you always get this isolated pawn on the d file. And since you are going to play an IQP, you definitely want to keep pieces on the board because if you are the side playing with the pawn, it's a slight static disadvantage, but then you get a lot of dynamic. What word do I want to use? You get a lot of dynamic factors in your
potential,
like these outpost squares, this file, and you kind of use that to counterbalance that pawn. And it's actually a very nice structure to play. In general, at a level, it requires a bit more of a skill level to play. So I don't even recommend like for beginners to go into it. But once you've studied it before, you know what you're doing, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
And I actually like playing with it now. Like I really enjoy playing with the pawn.
Yeah,
Like,
IQPs are very complex. I try to avoid them as much as possible.
Yeah. So we get an IQP here. But the reason why I was fairly happy with this is because of these squares. Because in a normal IQP, the pawn is here
Yeah.
on A2. And sometimes you go like A3 to limit my access to these squares. But especially this B4 square is like very, like I can already put this 90 and put the 90 because control of this square is very important in an IQP. So I was quite happy with this particular version. Now that I look, I'm not sure why I didn't even go knight b4 yet because it actually looks very nice now. Because if I could put a knight here, I'll definitely be very happy. But either way, I also do like what I went for, which is the immediate knight e5 because the bishop's presence here is also a bit weird. Usually in IQP, the bishop belongs here on d3. And usually because this pawn is protected by a pawn on a2, it's not super weak. But in this particular structure, because of this slight weakness of the pawn on b3, and the bishop went back to d3. I mean, that's where the bishop.
But I kind of think that you're not trying to capture that bishop, are you?
No. I'm just. I won't capture it if you let me.
You would capture it? Because it looks like if you do capture it, you're strengthening his center. So let's see. Yeah. Let's just make h3 here, right? So knight takes, pawn takes. Isn't this just good for white?
Or you convert the structure to a hanging pawn structure. And it's probably better than an IQP here, but the bishop that has been lost. So in general, in both of these structures, white needs more pieces. Because he has pawns. His pawns are also weak. So it's a very similar rhetoric to the IQP. He needs piece activity to balance this weakness out.
Okay.
So the more pieces I trade off, and the more I go to an end game, the easier it will be for me to take advantage of these, and the more difficult it will be for him to get any kind of attack against my king, which is what he should be playing for. So any piece trade, I'm happy with, like in general, unless of course it does something else in my position. But if it's just a normal piece trade, I'm very happy with. And in particular, that light square bishop in an IQP is key. Like it's very, very important. So like the most important piece is this guy. It's not even close. So even if I'll trade these guys, this guy is the last guy he wants me to trade. Because in any
understand that.
Towards my king, that light square bishop is key.
Okay.
Yeah, so bishop b3 is he can't really allow me to trade that guy off. And then I just went b6, which is my other plan. So I mentioned earlier that control of this square d5 is extremely important in this IQP. So I want to put my bishop here to control that guy. And maybe my knight can come back eventually and also control that guy. Once I can firmly control the square, it will be very, very more difficult for him to get any kind of play. I keep the pawn blockaded. The pawn will be weak in an endgame. That bishop will never get active, and in general, I'll be doing well. So I was quite happy at this point. He played 95, which is what he should be doing. He takes advantage of these outposts. And there are many attacking ideas. That you may not realize if you've never studied IQP before, but like even something like f4, f5 can be super powerful. Like there are many ways to just tear black skin apart. So it's actually a pretty nice structure. I put my bishop on b7 doing what I...
just in case, can you explain why you shouldn't take the pawn? Just in case someone is asking.
Oh.
Just explain why you can't take it. For those who are not seeing it. It's a very simple tactic. That's the end of your life. That's the reason why you shouldn't take that pawn. In case you don't see why, that is the reason why you shouldn't take that pawn. It's an early grave for you. Okay, so
you hate yourself for a long time.
You stop playing chess for years. Okay, so we went bishop to b7.
Bishop b7 happened. He put his rook on c1, which is kind of normal. I decided to play rook c8 just to counterbalance that guy. Then his other rook came to e1. I mean, his pieces are all taking their ideal positions in the structure. So the other moves that if I give him all the time in the world, he will do is that he will try and back this bishop up and create this battery. And then together with the knights, you realize that there will be a lot of pressure on my position. He can even play like d5 at some point if it's well timed. So there's a lot of pressure that can come on my position. But I think, especially because of the weakness of this pawn on b3, he runs into some issues here. So I continue with queen d6. I want to bring this rook into the game, so I need to develop this queen so that my rook can come to d8 and put more pressure on that pawn. And here he went for a very committal decision. He could tell that after rook d8, the pawn becomes a bit tricky. And again, the queen gets access to this b4 square, which I mentioned earlier is weakened because of the style of opening we played. That puts like a ton of pressure on this weakness. So like these two pawn weaknesses are a big problem for him. So he doesn't have time to do what he would normally want to do because one of these two pawns will drop. And that's probably why he went for this move. So he played knight c4, which is not a usual move that you play in an IQP because, I mean, that knight is where it's supposed to be. My knight on a5 is actually a bit misplaced. Yeah. So trading them usually wouldn't make all that much sense. But here in particular, he wanted to relieve the pressure on these 2 pawns. So I kind of understood that reasoning. So I took on c4, and here's why I think he went a bit wrong. I think he absolutely should have taken with the pawn because
now you have your piece already ready. Yeah, your piece already ready to hold the pawns. Knight maneuvers, I think, because I think knight to e4, knight to e4 opens the rook's defense. Maybe you can. I don't know. I don't
knight to e4, as in for him.
For white, yeah. So I'm just saying that he has his pieces holding the pawns down, unlike in the previous position where they weren't even close to defending it. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think also because it takes away this big pawn for good, and the bishop kind of belongs on d3. This is also, I think, important. Here, I was thinking of playing in the game. I expected this. I was thinking of playing queen before, and I thought this should be good for me. But now looking at it now, I'm not entirely sure. Like a queen c2, I think he's probably doing fine. But it's still very balanced. It's not very obvious. But yeah, I think this was probably the way to go.
But he can even. It seems he has a lot of potential of attack. Like sincerely speaking, he's
that's the point behind all these structures. Like you need to get that attack. That's your saving grace. So that decision I didn't like. He took back with and that was I think that made it a bit easier for me. So after rook fd8, I'm putting a lot of direct pressure on this pawn. Now I will take if he lets me. And in trying to solve that problem, he started facing a lot of issues. So he played knight e2.
Yeah, that's the only move
to hold down. Yeah, but it wasn't very good. I'm not sure what he should have done. I actually don't remember what he should do here. But worst case scenario, just sacrificing the pawn is probably better than knight e2. Like you can just sacrifice the pawn and you've opened up this guy and you'll bring this guy back here and just play with the initiative. It's probably not great. If there's a good way to defend it, that would be better. But knight e2 it's not good. Mainly because it allows my next move b5, which is the kind of break that I really want. So after a takes, the point is he cannot take because I kill him. And the knight on e2 is the problem because if the bishop would go back here, then I couldn't do this. So after b5, I push his bishop back to d3. And here I had a number of ways to continue. I was really tempted by rook takes c1, and I was annoyed that later on the engine thought that was the ideal way. I mean, they were all very close in evaluation. There were many ways to continue, and what I played was also correct. But rook takes c1 is a bit annoying to meet because your bishop is already here. You don't really want to take back here with the bishop and undevelop it. And you really, really don't want to take here with the knight. That the knight is supposed to be heading towards my king side.
Okay.
But if you take back with the queen, you drop a pawn. Same tactic. You drop the b3 pawn. That b3 pawn is so you really want to take back with the queen, but you drop a pawn. So you have to make one of the other unsound sort of captures. Probably bishop takes is the best. I don't know. There's no good way to take back. But what I decided to go for is b4, which was another very nice move. I for one thing, I make sure that star pawn always become b3. and then I get this possible outpost on c3 for some of my pieces, right? A knight could like just hop in here and make here its home. And yeah, that would be a lot of trouble for him. There are many ideas actually. The a file also becomes very, very powerful for me too. I can actually just swing my rook over and just come to a2 and ask him why. And like his weaknesses all become very, very pronounced. So now he really needs to desperately get an attack on my king, because the weakness of these 2 pawns and my strong pawn on b4, and because of my bishop too, that pawn is not going anywhere anytime soon. So I thought b4 was a very nice positional wedge to get in. So he played knight g3, and yeah, he needs to get his pieces aiming towards my king side. So knight g3 is in the right direction. But yeah, I thought I could also reposition my piece, because mind you, I also do have a nice bishop here. So I thought I could start attacking his king as well. And I wasn't wrong, but I kind of overestimated the king side attack. So I played queen f4.
Ouch. Okay.
And I also want to make my presence known on the king side, because he's already very weak in here on the queen side. So I just want to make sure that I neutralize any sort of activity that he gets here on the king side, and then eventually those weaknesses will see me through. I think I should have.
Let me just mention, I was looking at something. I think he can stop it. Of course, it's an amateurish idea. I think he can stop it. But I was thinking about like in this position here, right? And okay, he can block it with his queen. I'm just trying to create an idea here. Just bear with me. So at this point, you could go this way, and if this now you have this kind of threat, on him.
Yeah.
So why is that? Why is this not an option? Is it because of...
It is. It definitely is. It's probably also very good. I'm actually not sure how he's supposed to defend against it. I think it's the same idea was like the engine stop line, but the engine starts with taking on c1 first.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because it's not good to take back with that piece. But after this one, then it's like you actually just win the pawn actually.
Yeah, it's like you have to just concede and then make a bad bishop and lose a pawn. Either way, you're losing the pawn.
Yeah, that's the thing. You lose a pawn either way. I think that was what I should have gone for. But I was tricked by my own ambition. To be honest, I thought I was getting a mating attack here. During the game.
Really?
Seriously, I was going to play bishop d6. I was going to play h5, h4, and I was going to checkmate. That was like my because my pieces are all better. And if I get these 2 killer bishops and this killer battery here with h5, h5, I actually don't see how he's supposed to defend. Like I thought this will eventually just.
The bishops are very tempting when they are staring down at the king like that.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, he's extremely resourceful, and the way he defended this game, position almost lost. I almost lost actually. So he took on c8. He correctly recognized that me taking him there would be a big problem, which is why I should have played on the previous moves. But I had to take a bit of pressure off of this guy. And then he played bishop c4, plugging up the file and trying to activate his bishop a little bit more. And I continued with my plan with bishop d6. So now the knight can't move, and my plan is just to sack the knight with h5, h4. So he played queen d3, and it develops the queen. I'm not entirely sure where the queen is going. But I'm not sure where the queen is going. Maybe queen here is the point, because he needs to neutralize my attack.
Or maybe just knight e4. No, knight e4. No, I just realized. No. I just realized that the bishop is. Actually, no, it's not a checkmate though. The bishop. Yeah, the bishop is there. Yeah. I messed it up.
Yeah, but bishops are a big problem. So I think queen e3 may have been his point. He was always also threatening bishop c1 in these positions. That was a move that I had a lot of issues with. I had to calculate it at multiple points, because once I play bishop d6, my queen is not coming back here. So after bishop c1, I always have to make sure that I'm fine. But I think at this point, my queen would have done very well here. And with threats of knight g4, he would be in big trouble because a3, because of the weakness of g3. So I played knight g4. So it sets up a number of threats. First off, the queen and rook and knight are attacking this guy. these knights can't move because of the pressure here too. And yeah, to be honest, I thought this would lead to a mating attack, and he played one of the only ways to hold, and he played it so quickly because I took a lot of time before I played knight g4 because I have checked so many lines. Bishop c1 right here, I think lost to. There were always these ideas of me transferring the queen like this, so like a queen. Oh no, here f2 is hanging, so you can do. Yeah, so I think here the moves I was calculating was queen e2 and rook f1. Exactly, those were the two main moves I calculated, and they both ran into a lot of trouble after either h5, h4, or this idea of queen f6 to h5 or to h4 was very, very powerful, especially in response to bishop c1. But he played rook e2, and I didn't. This was one of the three moves I looked at. I was like, what's the point? This. Yeah, why would the rook leave the back rank? So now he can't ever go bishop f c1. So like it looked weird to my eyes, but apparently it was actually excellent, and it was the way to defend, and it held all my threats. So I played h5. I thought, okay, so now he can't stop h4. Am I not just winning?
And why not queen? Why not the queen rather?
Queen where?
Queen h6, like you were saying.
Yeah, queen h6 is also a fine move.
I feel like that causes more problems.
Yeah, so queen h6 after h3. I guess that's why he put a queen on the third, because now you don't actually win this guy.
Okay.
The other lines, the point would be knight f2 when this guy hangs, but then the queen comes to the third rank and actually holds things down.
Yeah, that's
so his defense was extremely, and he played all these moves quickly because like I burnt a lot of time for these two moves, knight g4 and h5. Like I burnt a huge amount because I thought if I just calculate this well enough, I have to win. So he just went queen d2. Now I see the points. Like this is where he stops me. This diagonal is better than stopping me with the bishop here, because my plan was to go here and to threaten to come here. But after this, I think h3 was the move.
Yeah, and now you're just moving backwards.
Yeah, h3 was the move, and yeah, that's it. That kind of breaks down, and you don't have a knight f2. You don't have knight f2. You have to come back. That's pretty much it. And so I calculated a lot of things here. Like if I go h4 here, does it work? It didn't really work. If I go queen here and I take and I do this, can I go for something like that? There was just nothing. After queen d2, I spent like 20 plus minutes, and I was left with just a bit less than like 20 minutes on the clock, and he still had like close to an hour. So yeah, I felt really bad. I thought I'd misplayed the attack somehow, because at some point after bishop d6, I felt certain that I should have a very strong attack. And if he forces queens off, the attack is basically gone. Now that I've had the opportunity to look at the position with an engine, of course, I know that we both played all the correct moves, actually. I didn't put a step wrong.
Wow.
And I played eventually the best move, which is h4.
Oh, nice.
Because you have to allow the queens off. There's no way to actually avoid the queen exchange. So you don't get a mating attack, but you still do have a very, very powerful position. But in the game, I thought h4 is like an admission of, defeat. Okay, my attack has failed. Yeah, like, I've messed it up. I felt really, really bad at this point.
So here, and is it an equal position, or black has the edge?
Yeah, black has the edge. It's not like a huge edge, but the thing is we are approaching an end game, and because of the structure we are playing, inherently in any end game, I'm going to be better because of these weak pawns. So if for nothing at all, I've made sure that he never managed to attack me. So even an IQP, he doesn't get any attack. He rather has to defend against an attack. The end game will always be bad for him because of these weak pawns. So black is still doing very, very well. And if only I had that like that confidence that my position is still I haven't done anything wrong. I think I wouldn't have made the mistakes that I made soon. But at this point, I felt really, really horrible. I felt like I'd messed it up. Anyway, so the queen exchange happened, bishop took back, and then the knight dropped to f1 to protect that square. And now he's kind of held everything. And so we have to play chess again. You can't mindlessly attack him any longer. So I played rook d8. In retrospect, I'm not happy with this move at all. It's like a general IQP move, of course. You always want to keep this pawn under check and make sure it cannot advance. But it was already not threatening to advance because of my bishop. And so what I should have played was rook here. I mean, my rook belongs here. This It's not difficult to see that my rook belongs here on a2, and that would have kept the balance, I think. But I was still doing quite well. Even rook d8 wasn't bad. And here he went f3. He has to sack my knight, but I expected him to do it with h3 because it sacks my knight and also stops this pawn from advancing. But doing it with f3, I guess the advantage is that he creates space for his king to join the action sooner. But then because of my bishop here and my pawn here, I always get these ideas of playing h3 myself and kind of destroying that structure. So that happened. So I played knight h6 to bring my knight in here. And he played his knight forward to knight e3. And then I got to play this h3 idea, just ruining that structure. And then he played g3. And this is where I lost my mind. So I've played well, I haven't made any serious mistakes. He has just defended well. And sometimes when you come against good defense like that, it can be frustrating. Because the psychology of the position kind of changes. Yeah. So it goes from a position where you feel like you should have a winning attack to like an end game. And it's an end game where you're better. So if you take your time, you will realize the time you play well, but then you feel like you've messed up. So you kind of try to force things. So I played a very bad movie. I took on f3.
Really?
Yeah.
That looks like the best move to me.
No, it sucks. You shouldn't give up. You should never give up two pieces for a rook and a pawn unless like you are sure you're winning. Because pieces eventually will always outplay the rook, given time. So, and especially my bishop pair is like so powerful in this position. And especially with this pawn here.
Yeah, you can reroute your bishop too. Yeah. I just realized that.
It's okay, just come back anywhere and your rook will still come here. And how is he going to ever fix this mess? He has to play f4 at some point, and my knight will even start jumping in. You have this beautiful bishop with this, like it's a very nice position.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Yeah, if you just take your time. But sometimes you tend to rush things at that level. So I play bishop f3.
You have to risk it for the biscuit, bro.
And he took the two pieces, and now I played rook a8 because now I wanted to get my rook a8. And now he's better. And he should win this endgame actually if he plays well. But somehow he also blundered quite soon. So he played king f2. Of course, he wants to get his king in. Mm-hmm. Then I got my rook into a2. That's the square. And he played this move knight c4. So. Mm-hmm.
Now that has freed the square.
Yeah, after I played rook a8, it was clear that I was coming here. So there were a number of things he could have done. And any of them would have been better than what he did. Like the idea of him playing the bishop rather here and the knight going here to hold down this guy. Or even at this point after rook a2, just knight d1 was better. It does the same thing, but from a safer square. But the problem with knight c4, and somehow I'd seen the idea beforehand, but then he seemed to just miss it. It's not a very simple idea to spot, actually. But yeah, maybe.
So should we pause the video and figure it out?
you can try and find it.
Actually, I wasn't thinking about that at all. I was thinking about the space left behind. The fact that now this knight has the possibility to come to this square and cause some problems. That's what I was looking at. But it seems you have another idea in mind. I haven't located that idea yet. But I was thinking about the fact that the knight can come in here. This allowing this knight to come in here is actually a problem. I can't really figure out why, but I just feel like it's a very good square for the knight. So that's where my mind was.
This is the game. I mean, I played knight f5. But the key is the next move. It's not that
move. Okay, so
yeah. After he went king f3, and king f3 is a blunder, and the game is just lost, like on the spot actually.
Oh.
Yeah, because of that idea.
Yeah. I think I see it. Is it a fork? Does it have to do with a fork?
No, it's not a fork.
No. I was looking at, for example, takes, knight takes, and then this takes, and okay, then
no, it's not like a tactic. It's removing
the defender. Oh, okay, so how do you remove the defender? Knight to d6?
Knight to d6.
Really? How is that the best move?
It's wins on the spot. It's like -2 points. It's almost -3. Like it's in this position, white is slightly better if he plays. I think there was a way to still avoid it at this point, after king f3, that it just shoots to -3 almost. Like it's just done. After knight d6, there's no defense. It's shocking.
Yeah, that's I'm like, what do you mean by
no
this is the
defense.
defensive?
Like you can look, there's no defense.
I take the knight, then you take my bishop, then what have you won?
Yeah, I'll win the b3 pawn.
Like yeah, but still the promotion square is
if you defend this pawn, I'll win this pawn.
Oh, but still, even if I allow you to take that pawn, the promotion square is a light square, isn't it? And I can sort of remaneuver my bishop to, for example, e4, where I guard both promotions.
No, but you have to give up your bishop for the pawn. I mean, you have to give up the material.
Oh, okay.
I'll
It's good to play the devil's advocate sometimes, because I have to ask why this move.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like really.
It's not, but it's very easy to me. So I wasn't. I mean, it's kind of painful. I would really be annoyed if I played his side and like you lose again. And there are certain things that when you miss, in general, when you miss something small like this, you should still be able to fight back. You know, like there should still be some. But this is the kind of miss that's it's very annoying. Like there are some things you miss and it's just over. Like that's it. And it's super annoying because like there's nothing you can do actually. It's not even difficult. It's quite simple to win from here actually.
It's just funny how your potential weaknesses became your strengths.
Yeah. So eventually that pawn on h3 became the hero of the game. It's a very Alpha Zero style.
Yeah. Okay, so he plays bishop to c1. He didn't take.
Bishop. No, he didn't take. I mean, they're all equally hopeless, but probably taking would have extended the game a bit more. But I don't think any serious player would fail to win that. And so I took the knight. Then he had to take back with the bishop. Take back with the pawn. Then my pawn just rose. Yeah. So he had to take back with the bishop. Then I take on h2, and that's the key. That this pawn actually is unstoppable.
Damn.
And yeah, it's a bit brutal actually. It's a bit tough, but yeah, it's actually just lost. So he tried to play on for a while. Bishop e3, my rook came to c2, and now actually I'm threatening to take this guy, which is kind of a funny tactic because after takes the two parts was unstoppable. Yeah, so he had to move the bishop away too. Then I pushed. Then he put the bishop on g2. Stopping me from promoting, but then I just went after the other pawn.
Yeah,
and he played.
And it's a very key move because if you played the rook any other place to attack, the king can attack your pawn. So in this case, king can't move closer to the pawn. Yeah.
Yeah. So you take the pawn. He tried to do things, but yeah, I mean, no serious player would fail to win this.
Bro, you keep saying that, and some of us are here losing these games.
Two past pawns like this, it's not. Yeah, so I finished with a nice tactic at the end. He resigned after this.
After this point, yeah. But the point is,
after bishop
takes, bishop takes, and then you are the only one with chances of winning.
No,
damn.
You don't play on him, not even.
Yeah, you don't. These days we don't see checkmate on the board anymore, but that's fine. That was an interesting game. For me, for me, who doesn't play the Queen's Gambit declined, usually I would go for, after e6, knight c3, I would just go for this. Sincerely speaking, this is usually always what I go for because it just seems like the only way I can throw my opponent off. Though these days I'm not liking it because I like my bishops quite a bit, but yeah, the conversion, it's very funny because it was a very slow game. It seemed like nothing was happening. And for those of you who don't get some of the explanations he was making, as funny as this position looks, black is just okay. But black is having so much pressure in this position. Like, it's very hard to understand that black is having, because it looks like white has all the space, white has all the attacking potential, but black is just fine. And all these little moves, applying your principles. Your principles are very important. Applying all the principles of chess, focusing on activity, and you'll notice that he kept on talking mostly about what his opponent was trying to do. It's one thing most of us chess players we don't really do. We don't think about what our opponent is trying to do. It's like, I want to checkmate him. It's not, okay, how can he stop me from checkmating? It's more, that's where you should be thinking about more and more, about what your opponent's plans are. Then if your opponent's plans are not too deadly, you push your own ideas. If they are deadly, you stop the ideas. And by this continuous stopping and pushing of your own ideas, you end up getting very good positions. Like he got over here. The only problem was that for both players, one move made the difference. So for example, overestimating his attack here. Funny enough, it still helped you. But yes, agreeably, you still overestimated your attack. It's something we do sometimes. We really want to win a game. We get so excited, so we decide let's just go ganku, and that's how I've lost most of my chess games. But as you can see, Adu-Poku is invulnerable. He doesn't fall for for things like this.
No, I lost this game. I would have been very annoyed because he would have converted this game like on any other day.
Yeah, so this is the move of the day, like sincerely speaking.
Yeah, 96 was like a backbreaker.
Yeah. Wow. You know, a thumbnail idea just came in my mind, but the ability for me to do it is the problem. But I will figure it out. You see, I'll do a thumbnail, I won't do a thumbnail. Whatever is the case is the case. And then the conversion was so beautiful. Yeah. The type of games when you finish, you don't get up immediately. You stretch quite a bit and try to come to terms with the fact that you just beat a titan. Like literally speaking, there's no other way to finish these type of games. I remember the day I beat Lionel. Like I didn't get up from my seat. I just sat down. I had to process what happened. Like I just beat the ex-national champion. Wow. So very
I'm super happy with like my play because
you know
I knew that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's nice to win, but the nature of the game, sometimes, if I'd managed to convert from like the middle game where I was better, then I would have been ecstatic. But the way the game went, I knew that on another day, I would have probably been lost that game. So I wasn't like super happy because I missed silly things.
Yeah.
But yeah, the good thing is that the pressure that I put on him probably also was part of the reason why he made a mistake, right? So it all still counts. Yeah. So
and funny enough, beating Hasford is like saying you've won the tournament because he's literally the person who's going to give everybody trouble. So being able to either beat him or draw him gives you the opportunity to become the national champion, which of course you are now. So all eyes are on you. Very beautiful game. I think I would have lost by move 20. The moves I was considering as you were talking, I realized that I would have lost this game a long time ago.
He found the rook c1 queen d5 ideas too.
The rook c1 queen d5. Yeah. But still, I think I would have gotten this far because, like I said, I play the Rogozin most often. Or sometimes when I play the Queen's Gambit, I just get so annoyed that people play when I play d5. People play the Queen's Gambit that I just decided, you know what, let's just go Albin. And by playing this game, you know you're literally going to lose. Like you don't play this to win a game. You play this if you don't like. Please, some openings. People say you can do whatever you can do with an opening, but some openings are literally not. Don't try this.
The opening is not too bad.
It's not too bad, but the problem is if your opponent knows what's going on, you're 100% losing this game. 100%. It's very rare. It's very rare to win Albin counter Gambit.
I think it's better than the London.
You know, I'm about to send you a challenge right now and beat you in the London system. Sincerely speaking, did you watch that London system game? I've mentioned before. It was Carlsen versus I forget. It's a John Bartholomew video. All Carlsen's pieces were on the back rank, and yet he was winning. He was 100% control position. That is the power of the London system. Okay. You see, even the previous game you were supposedly winning, but it ended up being a draw. It's the London system. You have to agree that the London system is the best. And I'll prove this during the President's Cup.
Wow. Yeah, come and beat Ken with the London. That will be...
Yeah.
Settle all
doubts. Yeah. Settle all doubts. Okay. So, Adu-Poku hasn't eaten. I'm just kidding. He has been slicing up human beings for some time now. But, yeah. He has to go. It is a very nice and in-depth analysis. I'm sure this analysis will help you guys if you don't understand IQP. You realize that he said certain moves were principled in an IQP and certain moves weren't principled. And you realize that the unprincipled moves that Hasford made his position better. So it's good to have some of these understandings. You can watch this video at least once or twice to understand. I'm actually going to watch this video, even though I was here for the analysis. I'm going to watch it quite a bit to understand, because I really face this quite a lot and I don't really know what to do. So we've actually learned quite a lot. I would have preferred to analyze one of your Catalan games, but I know this game made you feel good. But yeah. So
did I play a Catalan? I don't think I played a Catalan.
In this, no, not this tournament. I would like to analyze your Catalan. I wanted to know your mind on the Catalan. But
Catalan is it's better than London.
Nothing is better than the London, guys. In case you don't understand, the only person who can hope to get a good position is White. Like, every single time Black finds a refutation, White has something. That's the funny thing. No matter what Black does, White has a refutation. That's the funny thing. Like, if you want an opening where you have, whether it's you are winning or your opponent can draw, like, your opponent either has to fight for a draw or you are winning. That's an opening you should go for. And the London system does that. Those who say the London system doesn't need a brain, I don't know who would ever say something like that. Nobody says that. Yeah, nobody ever says that. Yeah, who would say that? Like, you do need a brain to live the London system. Okay. Enough hating on the London system. The Sicilian is the West. Anyway, actually, I think it's the French. The French is the West opening. Or is the orangutan?
Yeah, no arguments there.
Okay, so Adu-Poku, thank you so much. I hope we'll see you anytime soon. Maybe one day when there's a tournament and the electronic boards are being used, I would love to have you around. I mean, the Olympiad was fun when we're laughing at Lionel for not playing his game. So yeah. Okay, so have a wonderful day. Again, like, subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Do same for Adu-Poku. His channel is Chess Intense. He's going to be releasing a lot of interesting videos very soon. I'm putting him under pressure, but yeah, he's going to. And check out the previous video where we asked him some questions on how he started out with his chess and his motivations, how he improved, and he gives general tips about chess improvement. You know, I should have said this in the beginning of the video. That would make people click that video even more. But I said it at the end. Anyway, some people watch videos at two times the speed, so they'll definitely watch this part. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
See ya.
Yay.